anomalous apparitions of misplaced souls seeking to find their place in the afterlife. The ghosts of the Japanese tsunami continue to leave a proud nation saddened and mystified. I know better. Japan's ghost problem, Ray? What says you? Go ahead.
The tsunami, the Japanese tsunami, is a pretty dour, sad story. All those
Indeed.
poor people and families lost in limbo. My heart goes out to the Japanese people for their tragic loss. But
Thank you, Rick.
on another note, what my heart doesn't go out to is I heard that you and Grimmhauser, you went down to the lake by your house there and rented one of those tandem bicycles, and I heard that you two were wearing your fruity pink little shorts and riding around the lake on your tandem bicycles. I just had to let your audience know what you get to up on your off time, and I know you take turns sniffing the seat, you and Grimmhauser, and that's all I gotta say, and I'll see you later in the show, but Andrea, stop sniffing those bicycle seats, you cretin. Hey, all right, let's gotta go. You disgusting dickhead.
I haven't ridden a bicycle in 30 years. What's he talking about? Tandem bicycle. I haven't ridden a bicycle. I don't remember the last time I rode a bicycle. I don't know what the hell he's talking about anyway. March 2011. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you, Chip? Play along one day, will you? I was retreating from a ravenous Rikuku flying fox in a Bonin Island estuary. Barely survived. Barely made it out alive. How about you, Madeleine?
I was playing sandcastles on the beach.
Sandcastles in the beach? Not in the sky?
Or the dirt. The sand.
Boring.
You were running from a flying fox?
Yes. They in the Japanese islands, they have these huge. Now, I don't think they're as large as the ones in Indonesia, but these huge flying foxes. Yeah, they're the most adorable things. Yeah.
And why'd you run from it? You couldn't cuddle it or something?
I'm trying to kiss its little weird nose.
Ah,
Not exactly.
I guess that's not the way to go. Well, I was out to sea around that time. There were no flying foxes that I was aware of.
I see. Not over the Sea of Japan?
Not that I know of.
I think Ray Casper might differ on that.
He'll differ on anything. He'll probably say that there were genies out there.
Exactly. So, not to be too somber in this episode of the Erich Andreas Unexplained, March 11th, 2011, Japan's greatest recorded natural disaster. 70 kilometers off of the Osaka Peninsula, an undersea earthquake struck northern Japan. The earthquake was so powerful, it shifted the axis of the Earth. Imagine that. The axis of the Earth shifted by an underground earthquake and the following tsunami. And not even get into the Fukushima disaster, unbelievable. But it struck the coast of Tohoku province and subsequently destroyed and damaged over 1 million buildings. 1 million buildings and dwellings, and entire towns were just obliterated in a matter of minutes, and anywhere from 15,000 to 20,000 dead. They don't have a specific number. A lot of the bodies some of the bodies weren't even recovered. I don't know whether they floated out to sea or what happened, but these people drowned. They were crushed to death by all the debris. Unbelievably tragic. Unbelievable. And this is such a tragic tale that I'm really even skeptical about speaking on it, because the more I looked into it, the sadder I got. And Japan is such a proud nation that they internalize their sadness and their mourning in a very distinguished way. And I could never do it justice, but... And this is such a silly, trivial show that I have a little bit of guilt, but it's nothing like the survivors' guilt that a lot of the Japanese people felt after this tragedy. And traditional forms of burial were just not available and possible after this tragedy. And the Japanese, they have an affinity for cremating their dead, and they weren't able to do it in in a lot of cases in the crematoriums. They couldn't cope with the mass.
They had no power.
Yeah, they just couldn't. Exactly.
And the lack of fuel too.
Yeah, and so a lot of these poor people and families were buried in mass graves, if you can imagine. And yeah, this also, there was a lack of ritualistic ceremony. In other words, the Japanese, they have their ritualistic ceremonies for their deceased and their loved ones, and they weren't able to cause further anguish that they weren't able to respect their dead in a proper fashion, and their loved ones just, these people were not bound for mass graves like this. And so,
well, some of them they unburied them and actually went through the cremation later.
Yeah, and I actually read something on that as well. But there was so much uncertainty and so much lack of closure because of the bodies that weren't found, and so I can understand the survivors' guilt with this subject. And
I mean, it's funny, you bring this up, but it's funny how in most European-ass countries, we use black for our funeral clothes, whereas in Japan and some other Asian cultures, they wear white. That symbolizes death for them and what they wear at funerals, from what I understand. And also the number 4, death, unlucky. And I think it's almost universal through a lot of cultures, anything related to China anyway. Any culture that derived from them. But anyway, I actually watched a video once that covered just that incident. And it was about 20 Chinese women who were immigrants working there. And the owner of the shop, a Japanese man, led them to safety up to the high ground when it was happening, when the tsunami came. And then went back to help his own family, and died in the process. From what everyone knows,
he was Chinese.
No, he was Japanese. He was the owner of the company that they're working at.
Okay.
But he took it upon himself to lead them to the high ground first, make sure they were safe, and then went back for his own family.
Really? Oh, that's unbelievable.
No one ever found him though. So as far as anyone knows, he's dead.
Oh my God.
Did his family make it? Do you remember? Did his family make it? If you remember?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the mother and daughter made it.
Oh, unbelievably tragic, yes. And the ghosts of Japan, what was suggested as Japan's ghost problem, and it was proffered by everyone from priests and monks to scholars to professors, that Japan has always had a ghost problem, and apparitions and ghosts in Japanese culture are looked at much differently. They don't always have such a scary, creepy context, but more of a connection with your ancestors, and which I find to be beautiful. I really do. And it's a lot of the survivors and the people that weren't directly involved in the actual decimation. You had people that they were even afraid to walk down the street or walk anywhere close to where the tragedy happened. There was people who had reported seeing, in actually like mud puddles, because it would rain a lot, the eyes of the dead looking up at them. Mud puddles, that's tragic. A man who disliked walking in the rain, a specific story, because that's what he would see. And he had to do his best not to look down at the puddles. And the puddles, he would see eyes of the dead looking up at him. And the taxi driver situation. That's unbelievable. You can find so many stories on that. The taxi drivers would get calls and they would pick up people, or I don't even think they had calls, people would hail taxis and they would be asked to be taken to locations that were just decimated. And the taxi drivers, on several occasions, they would say, well, that place no longer exists, or that dwelling is no longer there, and they would ask to be taken there anyway. And there's even dash cam in-car footage of some of these people that would just disappear out of the back of the taxis. And there's a story of a specific taxi driver that he had a feeling that was going to be the case, because he already had heard about this happening to the other drivers, and he took the passenger. Dissipated in the back of the cab, but he still continued to the location and got out and opened the door so the person could leave, even though they had disappeared out of the back of the cab. A very, very respectful thing to do. I should imagine. The taxi driver testimonials are some of the saddest, and as Westerners, we would look at it as being creepy. But this is a nation that was looking for closure, still is in some cases looking for closure. Apparitions of entire families walking the beach, staring out into the sea, and then they would vanish into the ether. That's a very, very sad thing. So, and ghostly encounters came so common that articles were published in academic journals, and like I said, priests and scholars, monks would classify this as the ghost problem. And so, normally now, as we talk true tale or festering fable, but
there's no questioning this one.
No questioning this one, and how do you don't argue with people in mourning,
Not just that. I mean, the Japanese have a culture that spans generations, maybe not as far back as China, but because of their deference to their ancestors and the planning for their descendants, their culture has remained strong even into what I might call a homogenized world. It's impressive. Mm-hmm. And so it serves a purpose. And I can't crap on that.
No, you can't. So Blake Grimmhauser, he's in the about section of the channel here. He has now the title of Paranormal Critic, which we need, a paranormal critic, because I'll fall for almost anything when it comes to the paranormal, because I want to believe it. Madeleine is in the middle. And
I call you the true believer.
A true believer. Or at least I want to be, or I will pretend to be a true believer because I want to believe it. But yeah. So this is a very, very sad thing. But on a more pleasant note, you know what I think? I think if we sit back and we want to relax and we want to take some time and unwind, but still bring in some Japanese culture to a degree, I think we would turn to Grimmhauser's Gaming Guide. What says you, Grimmhauser?
You want to know about a game that relates to this? There is one. Ghostwire Tokyo. So you're the main character, Jin, whose sister is in the hospital in, I believe it's Shibuya, part of Tokyo. And, well, she had just been injured in a fire. In the ICU is where you find her, and oddly enough, a mysterious person in a Hanya mask takes her. A Hanya mask. So, a Hanya mask is like the appearance of a demon. A horned mask with very prominent teeth.
I dated something like that back in Philadelphia.
You're Philadelphia girls.
I'm so sorry I can't talk.
You should be. All the same, you know, you're talking about should be, and you're talking about Philadelphia, man.
I know.
You should never have gone to Philadelphia.
I know, especially for that experiment.
Wow. All the same. A man in a Hanya mask spirits away his sister, and then, out of nowhere, a fog envelops Shibuya and it pretty much kills instantly everyone who's in the vicinity of the fog. It takes their bodies away. So Jin survives because a spirit bonds with him and saves him, one of the spirits of the people who was going to die. And this spirit happens to be somebody who was a medium, somebody with spiritual power, and is kind of his guide on the journey to, one, mastering the powers that he couldn't normally use, and two, saving his sister. But along the way, they're going to have to encounter spirits, yokai, which is to say Japanese ghosts and monsters. It kind of is interchangeable. And even, to a degree, kami, gods.
Kami.
Kami is, yep, gods.
Okay, good. Okay.
And so,
Hold on, Chip.
Chip is having a field day over there. He loves the kami. It ties into the themes of Japanese, like what their beliefs in death are. And you go throughout Shibuya, encountering lots of different yokai. For example, you try to get, you gain power by getting magatamas, so little jewels that are the power that yokai have, like spiritual power, right? It's there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
But it's a traditional way of doing it, for one, because their yokai have specific habits, and there's a lesson behind each kind of yokai. So, for example, the kappa. Kappa are known for drowning people in their mythology, similar to the Celtic kelpie, you know, the horse that drags people under.
Oh.
It's a very similar kind of situation there. But you lure it in with a cucumber, and then capture it to get its power. It's sort of that sort of thing. And there's tons of yokai just like that. All these kinds of spirits that you chase around, do quests for, all leading to the ultimate goal of saving your sister and hopefully restoring as many people as you can back to life.
Oh.
That's the gist of it.
So this is a Grimmhauser gaming recommendation.
High recommendation. It's an open world game. A beautiful and soulful take on Japanese society. And more than like any mythologist's dream, this game is pretty accurate. And you also get to explore Shibuya. Very accurate portrayal of Shibuya.
Oh, brilliant. So, Grimmhauser's gaming recommendation, trailer here.
Five birds, man. Five little birds.
5 little birds.
Then, yes. So, The game will take you places you would have never thought to see, and shows you pieces of a culture that has remained largely intact, despite, like I said, the homogeneity. Homogeneity? What's the word? We'll just say the homogenizing of the world as through technology. You know, I mean, they've stayed intact with their cultural roots. Mm-hmm. You know, maintaining shrines, torii gates. Which, if you guys aren't familiar with a torii gate, it's that gate that's like, you know, it's like an arch, like that, you know, that arch, a square arch with the flaring tops. It's red usually. That's a torii gate. A spiritual portal, you could say.
Lieutenant Commander Blake Grimmhauser is a cauldron of Far East information. Things that are intelligences that are unknown to me. All right. Very interesting.
Play it. You won't be disappointed. I gave more than enough information and more than I normally would for a game, but this game, it gives back.
All right. That's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So back when I was looking for a good spread, that girl in Philadelphia, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a good spread on a piece of toast. Where do I turn?
Where do you turn?
Well, I personally would turn to lots of different little places, but probably one of the most scrumptious places would be, you guessed it, Schmucker's Strawberry Jam.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a mama joke.
Well, insert mama joke here. What says you, Grimmhauser? Schmucker's Jam.
Yes. Let me tell you something. Obviously, you cannot fuck up peanut butter and jelly. Cannot. But Smuckers, I mean, what kind of a joke would you be to avoid this? This is childhood. Did you never have Uncrustables? That's all Smucker's jelly. I don't remember whose peanut butter's in there. Probably Jiffy or something.
Yeah.
But all the same, you'd have to be a sucker not to love Smuckers, so eat it, fuckers.
Don't be a
Childhood
schmuck.
memories.
Don't be a Schmuckers.
Yes.
We were lucky when we got this brand.
I know exactly, because my mother would always get like some generic thing or something or other. And Schmuckers.
Schmuckers.
It's good eating there. Beautiful.
Ray Casper here for Smucker's Strawberry Jam. When I was stationed in Tokyo, I would spread some of this jam on something sweet, alright? In all of those gentlemen clubs, if you know what I mean.
You know what's not so beautiful? Your friend. Go ahead, Ray.
You break my spirit.
Go ahead, Ray Casper. Let's hear your bit.
What do you want?
You called me.
What do you want? Why are you calling me? What do you want? Go ahead. What do you want?
You called us.
Andreas, you know that Sunday night is the night that I listen to I rock out with the Sandra Carpenter and the Dewey Lupas. I like levitating because I'm levitating. What do you want? Why are you calling me?
Somebody give you shrooms?
Where's Sucky? Why is Sucky not on the show? Why is Sucky? Put Sucky on the line. Where's Sucky? I'm gonna wait for Sucky. Put Sucky on the line. I like her. She's fun. Put her on. I'll wait.
Suki will be on the next show or the show after, Ray. You know that.
Put Sucky on. I say you. Mongolian bastard, you put her on the line. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm listening to Sandra Carpenter and the Tiffany Spears tonight, and I got a whole night planned, and I'm doing my Kegel exercises.
What?
Anyway, all right, I'll talk to you later in the outro, and enjoy my brilliant commercial. Okay, goodbye there. Sorry. How you all, man? What the hell is your name?
Madeleine.
Monica. Yeah. Bye, Monica. I gotta go. All right, I'll see you later.
What?
You butt munches.
Oh, there
it is.
Yeah.
He was almost lucid for a second there.
He's doing Kegel exercises. Those are for pregnant women, aren't they, or something?
Men can do them too.
What for?
Do we have cable muscles?
I think constipation.
Interesting. All right.
You learn something every day.
All right, conversational wrap up. Ghosts of Japan. I didn't realize how much Grimmhauser knew about Japanese history and culture when it came to, I guess, what we would call as Westerners paranormal. Unbelievable.
Well, a lot of it, like I said, came from that game, and there are plenty of good sources as far as Japanese lore, but their own video games are usually jam-packed with that sort of thing.
Okay.
For example, if you want a few honorable mentions, White Day, a labyrinth named school. White Day refers to the opposite of Valentine's Day in their culture, which is to say, during Valentine's Day, I always get this mixed up, so correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I believe on Valentine's Day, the boys give the girls chocolates. Normal. Like, that's pretty much what we do here. But on White Day, the girls give the boys chocolates.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, it's finally the dudes get something.
Yeah, no, that's
Give me some chocolate or some cereal or something.
And speaking of, Madeleine actually lived in Japan.
What?
Yeah.
Just for 3 months.
Well,
That's more than we did. Tell us.
Just a younger excursion.
Okay.
I lived in 3 different apartments because I went from a few different places to stay there.
Did you
a
pick
little
up some
longer.
lingo?
You know what? I could understand some conversation by the end, but
It would be gone by now.
It's
Yeah.
gone by now, yeah.
What part of Japan did you live in?
Tokyo, and then a few off cities from there.
yeah, really interesting. All right. Yeah, solemn subject. Yeah, in the intro that I shot before we started the show.
That's true.
I was doing some last minute research, and it just deflated me, some of the stuff that I was seeing. So I apologize for the.
I think that their culture is a little more realistic, maybe even a little more accepting of death than ours. Because, we think of it like the end. They think of it like a continuation,
Yeah.
Which, there is something to be said for that.
I think their acceptance of ghosts more so than in this country.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And they were given like scripts to tell people when they saw these spirits afterwards to help them like move on.
So it's something as much for the spirits, if they, whatnot, and for the people themselves, Get that closure as fast as you can. It's all built to the culture. I like that.
And things like possession are looked at in a different way. Possessions are not always negative, from what I understand. Yeah.
It's not like The Exorcist, huh? That's
Yeah.
nice.
From what I understand, which is very little on this subject. But anyway.
Yeah, I think there's like part of their Buddhism with the exorcisms too. I don't know. I remember
Shintoism.
I read something on it was of the sort, but sorry, I don't remember the details.
Well, just a quick change of the subject. You're right about this wine. It's wretched. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh.
Should have had sake.
Exactly. Actually, we do.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Next time.
We do have some, yes. All right, so Ray's going to do his little foul outro and say goodbye. So go ahead, Ray, please. Go ahead, Ray, please.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Erich Andreas Sweet Butt Munches to Blake Grimmhauser, Lieutenant Commander Second Class Grimmhauser Spaceship Show. And I want to thank everyone after all this time for tuning in and liking and subscribing and coming on over to the Ray Casper Show. Ray Casper, I'm Ray Casper. A little sad tonight because Sucky didn't get a chance to come on, but it doesn't matter. I'll deal with these 3 butt plugs tonight, and I got no problem talking to them. Anyway, so thank everyone for tuning in, and I'm rocking out tonight to the Trina Aguilera the Christmas album that she just released, and I'm gonna rock out tonight because I know what's going on. So anyway, thank you all again, and for Ray Casper is signing out again. Good night to each and every one of you, especially all my new friends in India and Pakistan. All right, can I talk to you? All right, thank you.
There it is.
Filthy little dickheads, all of you. Disgusting.
Thank you, Ray. Oh,
Like you're any better.
What is he? Why would he have friends in India and Pakistan?
He thinks he has friends everywhere, but he also seems to think it's the early 2000s. Christina Aguilera, seriously?
Who's the
Oh, that's
Dewey
Christmas.
Lupas?
I have no idea.
Dewey Lupas.
No idea.
Oh, yeah, exactly. could he say Sandra Carpenter?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I don't think he does either. I think he just Googled something and then, all right. Anyway, so once again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a special episode of the Erich Andreas Unexplained, solemn episode for the most part. Trying out a little new studio setup, location situation. Yeah, and for Chip, for Madeleine M, for Blake Grimmhauser, Lieutenant Commander, and Erich Andreas, we'd like to once again offer an invitation to like and subscribe. Tell your 3 friends. I don't even have 3 friends. Like I say, they don't count, and Chip is destroying things over here. And we would love to see you on our next episode. Actually, our next episode is going to be a very interesting one. Believe it or not, we have an ex-FAA certified air traffic controller that is going to come on, and he needs to remain anonymous, but he will be on, and he will actually be giving some unclassified or classified rather, information on UFOs and UAPs that he saw and had to deal with when he was actually working as an air traffic controller. And it's going to be really interesting. Next week he'll be on. Yes.
As long as it's not STDs.
Well, he might have those too. That might be why he wants us to hide his face. But either way, no, this is a reputable guy, stand-up guy too. So this will be really, really interesting next week. So hopefully we'll see you next week. So thank you so much for tuning in once again. And I'd like to give you the 2 thumbs up, the peace out, whatever that means. And once again, the little birds. Fly away, little birds, all the way back to Japan. But not to that suicide forest.
No, I don't go there.
Well, to be perfectly honest, there was this girl in Philadelphia.
Stop!